Hello everyone, this is part 8 of What If Naruto Was the God of Taijutsu, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. So let me get this straight, the Sandaime Hokage said as he lay his pipe down on the table. You want me to forge a whole slew of doents about how we hired an ex-Kiri shinobi and his student, who nearly KU may I add, just so we can get them into our village as our own and avoid a war with Kirigakure. Yes, that is a most youthful explanation, Hokage-sama. Zabuza wanted to S himself in the face. The only reason he didn't was the urge to S Might Guy in the face was much more powerful at the moment. Too bad he wouldn't be winning any favors by doing that. Not that he seemed to have a chance in hell to begin with. Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult. Zabuza's jaw would have hit the ground if his face wasn't wrapped in its usual bandage. Now, to work out where. Wait. Zabuza waved his arms frantically. The Hokage stopped and took him into regard. Just like that. Did you even listen to yourself? Did you even listen to him? Zabuza gestured broadly at Guy. How could you possibly accept us just like that? The Hokage fiddled with his pipe as he thought how to answer Zabuza's questions. You clearly are not bad people. Misguided. Yes, but not bad. I think you could learn a lot from Konoha, and a lot from this team. The Sandaime gestured to the 4 Konoha shinobi in front of him. Zabuza glanced briefly at the green team. He then stole a glance at Haku. The boy seemed to be trembling from excitement. Zabuza had to restrain a sigh. He bowed to the old man. We are in your debt, Hokage-sama. The Hokage laughed. No, none of that debt stuff. Instead let us focus on things such as your shinobi ranks. I think Jonin and Genin would work out for you too. The Hokage gestured to Zabuza and Haku respectively. Zabuza's mind froze for a second. Jonin. Already. He couldn't really complain, but still, the Hokage was a truly lenient man. That'd be excellent, Hokage-sama. Good. The Hokage reached into his drawer and pulled out 2 headbands. One for each of you. Zabuza stepped up and took them both without pause. Haku's arms were still broken so he couldn't grab his himself. Zabuza then stepped forward and wrapped the headband around Haku's head before putting his own on. Thank you, Zabuza-san, Hokage-sama. Haku bowed deeply to each of them. The Hokage just laughed again. One more thing, here is your pay for an A-rank mission. The Sandaime handed Zabuza a slip filled with money. A job well done. Thank you very much. Zabuza and Haku stepped back in line with the rest of the group. Well then, now that that is settled, we'll move on to a more serious matter. Even though I can forge the doents and you two will be Konoha shinobi, the council won't simply hand you their trust. Therefore, I am immediately assigning Team Guy another C-rank mission. Naruto's ears perked up at this. I want you guys to watch over Momoki Zabuza and his student, Haku. You are to show them around town, help them get adjusted, and make sure they are welcome to our village as comrades. This will be considered a long-term mission, you will receive a weekly allowance for it, and naturally won't need to do any other missions while on this one. Naruto almost shouted out at this. However, he managed to restrain himself. Not something that was missed by anyone present. The Hokage smiled slightly. Apparently, this mission had served to humble the hyperactive boy a little. Now, to work out where the two of you shall live. Normally, I would suggest you live with Might Guy. Rejected. Zabuza said flatly. I would rather chop my head off with my own sword. Anyone but him. If Guy was offended, he hid it very well. In fact, he wore the same eerie smile he had since the Hokage had agreed to make them comrades. I figured you would say as much, however, I insist that you live with your escorts. Hinata's family would never allow it, and to my understanding, Lee lives in the room next to his sensei now, is that correct? Lee saluted when the Hokage addressed him. Yes, Hokage-sama. Guy Sensei's willingness to buy me a room and get me out of the orphanage still brings happiness to my heart today. The Hokage nodded. That just leaves Naruto. Zabuza turned and looked at the little blonde runt. He then looked back to Guy. Okay, we'll take him. Zabuza reluctantly pointed to Naruto. Said blonde runt had a look of complete shock on his face. I'm going to have roommates. The awe that leaked out of his face made everyone feel slightly sick. Everyone in the room was now aware of his prisoner and the treatment he had received because of it. Zabuza couldn't believe it at first himself. That such a powerful force lived inside such a small boy's body. Yet here it was, right in front of him. This is awesome. Naruto's shout for joy pulled Zabuza from his thoughts. I can't wait to show you guys to your new room. This is going to be so much fun. We gotta get Ichiraku's to celebrate. Yes, I will join you in this celebration. Lee pumped his fist in the air. I must let my sweet eye army know that I have returned in one piece. What in the devil is Ichiraku? Zabuza rubbed his temple. He was already getting a headache. You don't know what Ichiraku's is. It's only the best ramen in the whole world. Naruto waved his arms in a big circle. It's settled, we're leaving right now, come on Hinata. Naruto grabbed her hand and started to walk out. Actually, the Hokage's voice stopped him in his tracks. I have to talk with you and your sensei yet. The others can wait for you at the base of the tower. Don't worry, the Hokage took notice of the concern on all their faces. It won't be more than a few minutes. Just a couple small details about the mission. It didn't take anyone more than a second to figure what the Hokage meant by small details. Alright, we'll catch up to you guys in a few. Naruto felt Hinata give his hand a tight squeeze and he smiled reassuringly at her in response. Just a few minutes, he repeated. Hinata nodded, let go of his hand, and started out of the room. Haku and Zabuza followed her. Lee gave a last look at his sensei and best friend, before he too left and closed the door behind him. The Hokage squiggled something down on a piece of paper quickly. He then beckoned Naruto closer. What's this letter? Naruto examined it curiously. You are to open that later today, when you feel that you are at your most lost. The Hokage smiled at him. Most lost? What are you rambling about now? Naruto put the letter in his pants pocket. You'll know, trust me. Now, on to serious matters. The Hokage folded his arms in front of himself. Oh yeah, so what's the big deal, old man? You want to tell me about how awesome I did on the mission? Naruto put his arms behind his head and smiled big at his grandfather figure. Naruto, drop the act. You know why I asked you to stay. Naruto's arms slowly lowered to his side and his big smile dropped almost instantly. I don't see why you all insist on talking about this. I only spoke with it. It wasn't even serious. He just insulted me the whole time. Naruto was referring to the Kyuubi no Yoko which he had met inside his subconscious. Are you sure that is all? Did it offer you anything? Such as its power? The Hokage's face was grave as he spoke. He was taking no chances where the fox was concerned. No, I asked why he didn't lend me any, but the only thing he tried to get me to do was rip off the seal. The Hokage leaned back in his chair and breathed a sigh of relief. Listen to me, Naruto. You must never use the fox's power. The more of it you use, the looser your seal could get. There is no telling what could happen. The Hokage said sternly. I don't see the problem. The Hokage and Guy were both taken aback by Naruto's response. The fox is a part of me, no matter how much I want to deny it. A trip through the village confirms that. I should learn how to use it. That bastard owes me rent. Silence followed Naruto's blunt demand. It took the Hokage a few seconds to gather his wits, although, he managed to keep his face in complete control the whole time. No one would have even known what Naruto said had surprised him. And what do you plan to do with this power? The Hokage finally asked. I'd use it to become Hokage and gain their respect. Naruto said firmly. And what if the fox takes over your mind? What then? The Hokage had to keep himself from shouting. I won't let it happen. Naruto didn't bother to restrain himself. If it's a clash of wills, I'll come out on top every time. There's no way that fox will beat me. Guy, talk to your student. The Hokage turned the spandex-clad ninja. The man was rubbing his chin thoughtfully. He finally seemed to decide on something. I say we let him do it. The Sandaim's eyes widened just a fraction. Don't get me wrong, I know the Kyuubi is very dangerous, but Naruto brings up some good points. It is a part of him. No matter what, that is a fact. I cannot rightfully tell my student not to use a power like that when I have taught the Hachiman, also a forbidden power, to another one of my students. Finally, I have faith in Naruto. His youth will always surpass the fox's, of that I have no doubt. Guy gave the Hokage his best reassuring smile. Guy-sensei, Naruto felt tears start to fall. No one had ever had so much faith in him before. The Hokage felt older now than he had in a long time. He leaned back heavily in his chair. Do you even have any idea how to learn to control the fox, Naruto? Realization suddenly dawned on his eyes. Well, I was hoping you guys would know. The Sandaime looked to Guy. I have no idea, Hokage-sama. You two are most fortunate. I happen to have a man in the village who can train Naruto. Since your team is no longer doing missions, I want Naruto to report here at noon tomorrow. I will have the man here. You are both dismissed. Send in Tazuna-san and his family next and we will work on getting him a place to stay and a steady job. Guy bowed low and Naruto mimicked the action for the first time in his life. Thank you, Hokage-sama. They both said together. They then turned and walked out. Tazuna, you're good to go. I'll get the details of where you are staying from Hokage-sama later and we can go out to eat. Guy patted the elder man on the shoulder and rubbed Inari's hair. Thank you for everything. I'll see you guys later then. Tazuna, Tsunami and Inari walked into the Hokage's office. Once they were inside, Naruto turned to his sensei and bowed deeply. Thank you, Guy-sensei, for your faith in me. Guy waved the bow off. It is a teacher's job to have faith in their students. Now let's go meet up with everyone else. Guy was back to his boisterous self again. Yeah. Naruto and Guy began to descend down the steps of the Hokage Tower. Soon they were stepping outside into the bright Konoha sun. The good weather was the last thing Naruto was paying attention to though. They saw the group, however Neji and Sasuke were there too. Naruto felt his bee run cold. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Naruto growled at the two of them as he walked up. Neji peered over at him with a bored expression. Sasuke appeared to almost mimic him. We were just leaving actually, come on, Hinata-sama. Neji replied coldly. He turned and began to walk away. He didn't even look to see if Hinata was following. Hinata bowed quickly to her group. Sorry, but I must go. She turned to run after Neji but Naruto grabbed her hand. Wait a second. Why the heck do you have to leave? He asked in little less than a yell. We were all going to eat together. What business of it is yours? Neji had stopped walking but hadn't turned around. It is my business, I happen to be her boyfriend. Now stay out of this. Hinata turned a horrified gaze to Neji. Naruto-kun, not now, please. She whispered frantically. Father heard about Zabuza and Haku being with our team. He wants to discuss the mission with me. Boyfriend, huh? Naruto watched Hinata visibly flinch. I can't wait to hear what Hiashi-sama thinks about that one. Neji then continued to walk, Sasuke on his heel. Naruto-kun, we'll hang out later today, I promise. Hinata said again as he let go of her hand and took off after Neji. Naruto watched them go miserably. Suddenly he felt a hand on his shoulder. He looked to see it was his sensei's. I'm going to go with her. I won't let anything happen to her, don't you worry, Naruto. Guy gave him his nice guy pose. Naruto smiled up at him. Thank you, sensei. No problem. Guy vanished as soon as he said those words. Haku whistled. I am always surprised by that man's speed. It is no wonder you outclassed me, Lee-san. Yes. Guy-sensei is an incredible man and I am most proud to say that some of his youthful spirit has rubbed off on me as well. Haku and Zabuza took a couple steps back away from the shouting youth. So, shall we get going to Ichiraku's to celebrate our miraculous return? Lee turned to Naruto who was still staring off the way Hinata had gone. Naruto. Lee placed his hand on the blonde's shoulder. Ha. Naruto shook his head and turned to his teammate. Ichiraku. Lee repeated calmly. Oh yeah, let's go. Naruto turned around and started to walk but he stopped again. Ah. Zabuza. What is it? Zabuza had sat quietly through the whole exchange that had gone on. He would never admit it, but he kind of wanted to split that older Hyuga kid in half with his sword. It sucked that he was supposed to be making friends with these people. Well, it wasn't all that big a deal before, but if you're going to be living in this village, maybe you should buy a shirt. Naruto kicked his feet around nervously. I mean, all the villagers are staring at us, and for once, it's not to glare at me. Zabuza looked around. Sure enough, about everyone that was within sight on the street was staring at them. Well, just at him. He let out a big sigh. Well, we did just get paid for an A-rank mission. Where's the nearest clothing store to here? Guy had only ever been inside the Hyuga compound a couple of times, but this would be the first he had ever been this far in. He would normally like to look around curiously, but with so many curious Byakugan eyes trained on him, he figured it would be better to just keep his head straight and his head held high. He walked just a couple paces behind his student. Neji and Sasuke had not entered and instead went to meet up with their team. Hinata stopped in front of a pair of big sliding doors. Guy stopped just behind her. Hinata cleared her throat. Father, I am here to see you, as requested. Guy easily picked up on the anxiety in her voice. Yes, however, I see you brought another person here with you, said a cold voice that could only have been Hinata's father from the other side of the door. Guy couldn't be sure, but he bet that her father had his Byakugan active at that very moment. Guy thought about answering, but Hinata beat him to it. Yes, this is Guy-sensei. He insisted that he accompany me. Very well, you may both enter. Hinata bowed and Guy mimicked the action. You couldn't be too sure if he was watching or not. Then, Hinata opened the door and walked in. Guy of course followed. Once inside, Hinata closed the door behind them and then she went and sat down on the floor in front of her father. Guy paused for the slightest of seconds to take everything in. Hiyashi was sitting at the far end of the room. Only a small pillow was between himself and the floor. There was a long, slim table in front of himself. At the other end were two pillows, one which Hinata currently occupied. Guy wasted no time in taking the other one. It is a pleasure to meet you, Guy-san. I hope Hinata has not disappointed you too much. Guy wasn't sure what he asked was posed as a question or not, but he figured he would answer regardless. The pleasure is all mine, Hiyashi-sama. Hinata has been anything but a disappointment. She has progressed quite well in everything I have instructed of her. Guy kept his voice low and level. There was no fluctuating emotion seeping through. I would be interested in hearing of this progression later on in the conversation, but for now, I am most curious as to why my daughter was seen walking into the village with an A-ranked missing ninja from Kirigakure. I had intended to ask her, but I trust you would be able to supply me with a suitable answer. Guy almost stole a quick glance at his student. However, he doubted the action would have been missed and chose not to. Yes, you see, Hokage-sama hired Zabuza-san and his student to infiltrate a nefarious businessman's corrupt guard. My team was then hired to help draw this man out and assassinate him. We completed our mission and were ordered to return with Zabuza-san and Haku-san. Guy told the story he had been rehearsing. He just wished its first test didn't have to be on a master at seeing through deception. I see, so the plan went through without a hitch. If I may ask, what role did my daughter play in this assassination? If Hiyashi knew he was lying, he didn't show it. All the same, his latest question caused Guy to flinch. He wasn't sure how the man would take to the news of his daughter having been the assassin. Well, I don't know how else to say this, but Hinata was the one who ended up carrying out the deed. Guy answered with bated breath. To his surprise, he saw Hiyashi's surprise. Surely you jest. My daughter someone. How could it have come down to that with two Jonin there? Hiyashi's voice did not display his surprise. Well, things got a little frantic. Guy was starting to sweat. He really hated these kind of meetings. Gato appeared with an entire army of armed guards. We believe he saw through our deception and planned to have us all killed. And Hinata got through this army and wait, did you say Gato? Guy wanted to bite his tongue. He really slipped up now by using his name. As in one of the richest men in the world, Gato. You expect me to believe my daughter, who has displayed no talent in our art, fought her way through a miniature army and one of the most powerful individuals on the continent? Like I already said, things got complicated. Guy was really starting to feel himself panic. Zabuza-san and I were about to begin our attack, but Hinata just kind of charged in. Again, you speak foolishness. What would have possibly got this timid girl to charge into an army of men by herself, and what kept you from stopping her? This was not going how Guy had hoped. He was digging himself a bigger hole with each passing sentence. It almost seemed like the clan head was toying with him. Like he knew he was lying from the beginning. I thought they had Naruto-kun. Guy didn't stop himself from glancing to his student this time. He quickly looked back and was thankful to see Hiyashi was also looking at her. Him. What do you mean? Hiyashi's questions were now poised to Hinata. Guy almost let out a sigh of relief but quickly caught himself. Even the slightest movement could bring the man's gaze back to him. He needed to use this time to regain his thoughts. Zabuza-san, Haku-san, and Guy-sensei were the only ones who knew about the mission. They felt if we knew we would be likely to give it away, since we are inexperienced. They made it look realistic by putting Naruto-kun in a death-like state. I was fooled by it and out of anger, I attacked. Guy couldn't help but be impressed by her quick wit. Naruto was rubbing off on his team more than he expected. Anger, you say? That commoner's well-being made you angry enough to take a man's life. Guy suddenly had a feeling Hinata was about to say something she was going to regret. Yes, it did. Because I love him, father. Guy hated being right. Hiyashi's surprise quickly turned to anger as he s his hand on the table in front of himself. Love him? No, that's not right, I forbid it. I won't let you. Hinata screamed. Being with him has made me stronger than I ever thought I could be. I'll spar you to prove it. Hinata stood up to show how serious she was. Spar? Against me? Hiyashi had an incredulous look on his face. You should know your place. When I've put you down I will have your team switched immediately. He promptly stood up and walked out of the room. Hinata followed him without being told. Guy sat there for a minute, his brain trying to catch up with what had just happened. There was only one thing he knew for sure at that moment. He really hated being right. Hiyashi and Hinata, father and daughter. The two now stood facing each other in the family dojo. Guy stood in the room as well with a multitude of other branch family members who were looking on with curiosity. Hinata's younger sister was also in the room. She had a pained look on her face as she watched her older sister and father get ready to have a more than unfriendly spar. If I win, you have to promise me that I can date Naruto-kun, you must also let me remain on my team. Hinata broke the uneasy silence in the room. You really think you can win? I will admit that you have changed, daughter, but confidence without the strength to back it up is foolishness. Hiyashi activated his Byakugan and settled into his perfected Uoken stance. I am confident because I know Naruto-kun believes in me. Hinata's Byakugan activated and she charged her father without even waiting for the signal. She closed the gap in no time and struck at him. Hiyashi stepped slightly sideways to avoid the attack. He then brought his foot in between Hinata's legs and quickly pulled back. The result sent Hinata stumbling forward, right into Hiyashi's waiting palm. He struck her hard in the stomach and sent her crashing painfully to the floor a few feet away. Like I said, confidence without power is foolish. Stay down and reflect on what has happened here. Hiyashi turned to walk away. You're the foolish one, father. Hinata said as she stumbled to her feet. If you think that one blow is enough to keep me down, that is. Hiyashi spun around to face his daughter. He had not expected that. A month ago and that blow would have put his daughter down for sure. This might just be interesting after all. Hiyashi settled back into his Uoken stance. Come, he ordered. Hinata didn't even think twice about obeying. She charged in again and delivered the same strike as last time. That won't work. Hiyashi avoided the move and stepped his foot in again. Neither will your move. Hinata pivoted and spun on her back foot, causing Hiyashi's backwards motion to meet only air. Hinata continued her spin and brought her raised leg around in a powerful spinning kick. Hiyashi quickly raised his forearm and blocked the blow. He was not prepared for the surge of pain he got from the block. What trick is this? Hiyashi rose his other arm up and pulled Hinata's pant cuff up slightly. Underneath he was shocked to find an assortment of training weights. Not light ones either. It isn't a trick. It is testament of my determination. Hiyashi released his hold on her leg and they both jumped backwards. She then bent down and unclipped her weights. I hope you are ready to experience the full power of my youth, father. Guy was flattered that she was finally picking up his philosophy. He just wondered why it couldn't have waited just another day. What nonsense are you speaking? Hiyashi lowered his guard just slightly. His eyes did nothing to hide his confusion or growing anger. Just then his daughter vanished. He ducked just as Hinata's leg passed over his head. It's not nonsense. Hiyashi quickly spun and struck at Hinata only for her to vanish again. It's my resolve to win. Hiyashi rolled sideways to avoid Hinata's next Uoken strike. He completed his roll quickly and settled back into his stance. He needn't have hurried though. Hinata stood there, calmly facing him. You have gotten stronger, daughter. But it has led to too much confidence. You made a big mistake. You are now within range of my divination. Hiyashi's stance shifted and Hinata's eyes grew wide. Hack Rokujuyan show. Hiyashi hadn't wanted to resort to this, but if speed was all his daughter had to show, then he was no longer interested in continuing this fight. He launched himself at Hinata and only too late noticed the smirk that had grown on her face. Hinata changed her stance and then begun spinning quickly. Impossible. Hiyashi was too close to stop his attack and his first two strikes flew towards Hinata. But they never found their mark. His hands were stopped by an invisible barrier. Not a second later and Hiyashi was blasted off his feet and flung across the room. He landed hard on his back. He quickly rolled onto his stomach and began to get to his feet. The Hakusho Kaiten. He gasped. But when did you learn that? Not only that but the Juho Soshikan as well. Hiyashi's eyes widened as he quickly rolled out of the way again. His daughter had appeared in front of him, her hands engulfed in blue chakra in the shape of a lion's. She struck the ground where he had been just a moment ago, causing the wood floor to completely shatter. Hiyashi landed on his feet and quickly settled into his stance. It was a pointless gesture though. There was no way he was going to risk a counter-attack while Hinata had that technique active. Hinata charged at him and unleashed a furious barrage of punches. Hiyashi ducked and weaved his way through every one of them with increasing difficulty. Finally he watched them start to simmer out. He took this opportunity to knock her latest fist away. Hinata stumbled back from the blow and Hiyashi closed in. He never noticed the seemingly weakening jutsu suddenly increased to an intensity bigger than before. He did feel Hinata's enhanced fist connected painfully with his gut, doubling him over and knocking him off of his feet. Hiyashi, for the second time in one match, was sent down onto the floor on his back. He groaned and slowly rose to his knees. He suddenly bent over and coughed up a heap of B. He looked up wearily to see his daughter's jutsu had deactivated and she was now leaned over and panting heavily. Her Byakugan was also off now as well. It would appear that move has exhausted your chakra. Hiyashi finally got back to his feet. That means this fight is as good as over. He charged at her again, his Yuuken poised to strike. Hinata dropped to the floor and spun her leg in a powerful sweep. Hiyashi stopped fast and jumped over it. Hinata turned her body and sent her other foot upwards, catching Hiyashi painfully in the chin with her heel. The Hyuga clan head landed painfully on his feet a few feet away as his daughter spun around to face him and settled into a Goken stance. I will continue to fight, chakra or no chakra, I cannot afford to lose. Hinata charged at her father and delivered a punch. Hiyashi dodged and returned with a Yuuken. Hinata brought her elbow up and deflected it to the side, sending the chakra blast pointlessly into the air. Hinata then spun around and delivered a powerful backwards fist. You'd go so far for this boy, yet do you really know anything about him? Hiyashi ducked under her fist and swung at Hinata from down low. Hinata spun out of the way and brought her leg up in a chamber kick. Hiyashi went to meet it with a Yuuken strike. Hinata stopped mid-spin and then spun the other way. I know everything about him, even about the context of the law. Hiyashi was caught off guard and Hinata's reverse kick nailed him in the middle of the back. He stumbled forward. Hinata jumped in the air and aimed another spinning kick at his head. Hakusho Kaiten. Hinata was blown backwards and landed painfully on the ground. You know this and yet you still wish to be with him. Hiyashi spun to face his daughter. I don't understand. Why? If you know, then you must know the risk he poses. Hinata chuckled at his question. Why? She asked as she stumbled to her feet. Perhaps for the same reason you chose mother. Hiyashi's eyes widened. I know all about how you had to fight the entire Hyuga Council to get him to accept her. You broke a lot of rules and nearly lost your place as the clan head. But you did it anyways. Maybe my reason is the same. Hinata roared and charged at her father again. Just before she got to him she stumbled from her exhaustion. Hiyashi took the opportunity and nailed her straight in the jaw. Hinata's body arced high into the air and then crashed down onto the ground in a crumbled heap. Just like that, in a single instant, the match was over. You don't know anything about that. Hiyashi whispered more to himself. He stared down at his now unconscious daughter. Gai-san. Hiyashi called without turning his gaze. Yes. Gai stepped forward, his eyes wouldn't move from his unconscious student. Where did Hinata learn those moves? They are far too advanced for her. Guy's eyes finally focused on the man who was speaking. Too advanced. Did you see the way she eat them? They were both flawless. You should be proud. Guy gestured towards the man's unconscious daughter. I asked where she learned them. Hiashi said coldly. I taught them to her. It is my job as a teacher to teach her everything I believe she is capable of. Hiashi nodded his head. I see, I had told her I would remove her from the team. Guy opened his mouth to protest. But I have changed my mind. The improvement she has shown here is beyond anything I have ever dreamed possible. Keep up the good work. With that, Hiashi turned to walk out of the room. Wait, Hiashi stopped. What about Naruto? You will allow her to see him, right? Guy wasn't sure why he was asking such a question. He figured he owed it to his student who had tried so hard. Yes, Uzumaki Naruto. Send him here to meet me. I would like to talk to him myself. Guy's mouth fell open. Your presence won't be necessary this time. I will be sure my daughter is on time for your typical meeting time tomorrow. Hiashi walked out of the room before Guy was able to say another thing. He looked quietly back to his young student. Her younger sister was now leaning over her. She appeared to be trying to rouse her. I'm sorry, Naruto. I didn't keep my promise to you. Man, that really hit the spot. Naruto shouted as he walked down the street that led to his apartment. It was quite good. It seems like it has been forever since we had food from a restaurant, wouldn't you agree? Zabuza-san. Haku smiled brightly. It was all he could do to contain the excitement from going to the place he would soon call home. It was all right. Better than I thought anyways. Zabuza praised lightly. He now wore a navy blue, sleeveless jacket. It had the red swirl on the back. He still carried his huge sword on his back, so naturally, everyone was still staring at him. At least it wasn't at his pecs anymore. All right, up these stairs and we'll be here. The excitement was boiling up inside Naruto as he walked up the steps, led them down the hall, took out his keys, and opened the door to his room. This is it, Naruto said proudly as he walked in and spread his arms in front of himself. This is it. Naruto picked up on the disappointment in Zabuza's voice. Hey, I know it's not much, but it's not that bad. Not that bad. There are ramen cups everywhere. My sword is scraping against the damn roof. It looks like there is only a kitchen, one bedroom, and one bathroom. Where are we supposed to sleep in this dinky hellhole? If you're gonna be that way, you can just sleep with Guy-sensei. Zabuza shivered slightly. He then took another look around. Suddenly a brilliant idea came to him. Yeah, you're right. This might not be so bad, after all. Zabuza said, walking into the house. He strolled straight for the kitchen. See, that's the spirit. Naruto nodded happily, oblivious to Zabuza as he examined his kitchen wall. Hey, runt. On the other side of this wall is the apartment next door, right? Zabuza poked the wall with his finger. Yeah, I guess so. No one lives there though. You know, no one wanted to live in the room next to the demon brat. Naruto now looked at Zabuza curiously. Really? That's perfect. A devious smile that was masked beneath his bandages appeared on his face. Why do you ask? Naruto wasn't sure what happened. 1 second, Zabuza's sword was on his back, on the wall was up, the next his sword was gone and so was the wall. Yeah, this'll do just nicely. Zabuza stepped into the other room. Now we got 2 of everything. Gah, what the hell, Zabuza? You can't just go breaking down walls. Who the hell is supposed to pay for that? What am I going to do? This isn't right. I'm so lost now. Wait, lost? Didn't the old man mention something about being lost? Naruto quickly reached into his pocket and pulled out the letter. He flipped it open and began reading furiously. Naruto, I assume that if you are reading this that you are just ignoring my instructions and being nosy, or Zabuza has broken down the wall between your apartment and the one over. If that is the case, I will have already taken the liberty of having let the complex owner know that there is someone who has moved into that room. I hope the 3 of you are getting along well. P.S. You'll need to buy more than just ramen now that you have other people in the house. The letter slipped from Naruto's hand. He made a mental note never to underestimate the Hokage again. Ever. Haku noticed the note and he bent over to read it. As he read it, he began to chuckle. Hokage-sama sure is an intuitive man. Haku motioned for Zabuza to come over and read the letter. Naruto meanwhile went to his couch and slumped down. At least things were working out this way, right? A sudden knock on the door brought Naruto to his feet. He answered the door and was surprised to see a winded guy there. Guy-sensei, what's up? Why do you look panicked? Naruto, it's urgent. Guy placed his hands on his student's shoulders. You have to what happened to your wall. Guy took notice of it as Zabuza walked back into Naruto's side of the apartment. Ah, Mike Guy, do you like my addition to the room? I could be a designer if I wanted to, don't you think? Zabuza laughed maliciously as he stepped back over into the other side. Right, never mind. Naruto, still here, Guy-sensei. I can't go anywhere with your hands on my shoulders. Naruto shrugged his shoulders for emphasis. No time for jokes. Hinata took on her father in a sparring match and now he wants to talk to you. Naruto stared at his sensei for a split second. Guy took notice as all the emotions ran across his face. First confusion, followed by realization, followed by anger, followed by more confusion, and then replaced again with anger. If that bastard hurt her, I'll rip his throat out with my teeth. Naruto pushed past his sensei and started walking down the walkway. Instead of trying to stop him, Guy walked with him. Listen, Naruto. Hinata is the one who challenged him to the spar. Guy kept up easily with Naruto's brisk pace. Why would she do that? Naruto asked, still angry. He told her she couldn't love you and she went off the wall. She fought well and surprised him quite a bit. I think he wants to judge you. You can't go in there angry. Naruto came to an instant halt. Guy had no trouble matching him. Can't go in angry. How can I not be angry? That bastard doesn't even deserve to be called a father. Naruto spun on his sensei. I know, Naruto, but you didn't see what I did. If you go in there angry, you won't be helping Hinata. You have to think calmly, for her sake. Naruto was visibly shaking from all the emotions he was feeling. After a few deep breaths, he was able to work himself down. You said he wants to judge me, what do you mean? Naruto finally asked. Guy smiled brightly at Naruto's control over himself. Hinata showed him things he didn't expect. She said her determination comes from you. I think he is considering letting her see you romantically based on that. Anything to help her improve. But if you go in there, wild and destructive, you will destroy any chance. Naruto took everything Guy said in slowly. He finally nodded a couple times. Okay, I think I know what to do now. Let's go, Guy-sensei. Naruto turned to start moving again. He doesn't want me there this time. I'm sorry, but you're on your own for this one, Naruto. Naruto looked at him in disbelief. He then nodded his head slowly. Like I said, I got this. Naruto then started running off down the street. Guy hoped Naruto really did have it. I guess I should go take Haku to the hospital to have his arms looked at. I have to meet up with Tazuna like I promised. Guy was about to turn back to Naruto's apartment, but he saw Naruto running backwards towards him. Naruto appeared next to his sensei again. I forgot how to get to the Hyuga compound. Guy sighed. Naruto's chances were dwindling already. Hiyashi sat quietly in the room he had been in before the interruption. He stared quietly at a picture of himself and his beloved deceased wife. Things had changed so much for him when she had perished while on a mission. He hated even thinking about it at this point anymore. Had Hinata turned out more like him than he thought? She was clearly willing to fight the whole clan for this boy. Challenging him was proof enough of that. Hiyashi sighed. Just as he did, a voice called out to him. Hiyashi-sama, Uzumaki-san is here to see you. Hiyashi quickly slid the picture into the folds of his robes. Send him in. Hiyashi masked all his emotions. He had to appear stern as usual. The door opened and the blonde walked in nervously. The door sliding shut behind him made him just slightly. The blonde walked up and sat down on the pillow directly in front of Hiyashi. You look angry, is there something you want to say to me? The Hyuga head thought it would be best to test his temper. See how he would really was. It wouldn't surprise him if Guy warned him about watching his anger. You're damn right there is. As expected, if Naruto had been warned about it, he threw all those words to the side. You think it's okay to just treat Hinata that way? I should kick your ass right here for that. I have it half in mind just to leave this place right now and take her with me. You can bet that when I'm Hokage you'll be number one on my S list for treating her that way. Hiyashi stared ominously at Naruto for a solid minute. Everything Naruto had said slowly processed through his head. Then he felt his lip twitched slightly. Suddenly his mouth curled into a smile. The next thing Hiashi knew and he was laughing, hard. T had been forever since he had done something like that. What the hell? You don't think I'm serious? I will be Hokage and Hinata'll be the head of this clan. Naruto pointed a vengeful finger at the man who sat across from him. Hiashi's laughter slowly eased down. I'm sorry for that. It's just been a long time since anyone has spoke to me that way. First, my daughter tells me off, and now her little boyfriend does too. This truly is a surprising day. Yes, I think you'll do just fine. Hiashi had planned on accepting him from the beginning. Anything to help his daughter improve further and become the clan head like she was supposed to be. Just fine. Naruto pulled his finger back. What did you mean? I mean I think a future Hokage would be an apt choice for my daughter's boyfriend. Hiashi smiled at him. Oh, thanks, I guess. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Hey, wait a second, I had more to say. Naruto pointed at him again. Yes, if you must take my daughter on a date tonight, I will have her sister show you to her room. Hanabi, you may come in now. Naruto spun around as a younger Hinata with long hair opened the door. Father. Hanabi bowed to him before she took a seat on the one side of Naruto. Naruto noticed her peek at him out of the corner of her eye every now and then. I would like you to look at this picture. Hiashi slid the picture over. Hanabi gasped as Naruto picked it up. Is this your mom? Naruto asked as he held it more towards Hanabi. She only nodded slowly. She's really pretty. What clan was she from? The most distinct thing Naruto noticed about her was the fact that she did not have the Byakugan. Instead she had beautiful, purple irises. He had always just assumed the clan married within itself. She is a Hyuga. Naruto dropped the photo in surprise. But her eyes. She is the first one in over a century to be born without our clan's Kekkei Genkai. Hiashi looked sorrowfully at the picture. It was the cause of many troubles. Troubles. Naruto looked in confusion at the picture. As you know, we marry within our clan to keep the bee pure, however, because she did not have our Kekkei Genkai, she was deemed unfit to be my bride. Hiashi picked the picture up and stared at it. But, you said she was Hinata's mom. Naruto looked between both of them in confusion. She is. I fought the clan and came out on top but not without consequence. Hiashi stared at his daughter. When Hinata showed ineptitude for our clan's techniques, her mother was the one blamed. She was scorned by the rest of the clan for producing a weak heiress. I fear that it was this that eventually drove her to her death. Things started to piece together for Naruto. You blamed Hinata for her death, didn't you? At first, yes. Lately though I have come to blame myself. When I found out my daughter loved you I didn't want you to be together because she may suffer the same fate as I. Hiashi looked back up at Naruto. After fighting her today I realized I was the one who was wrong and that she is more like me than I ever realized. Why are you telling me all this? Naruto's anger was long forgotten. It was replaced by confusion now. Because you are the one she has chosen. The same way I chose my wife. I won't oppose you but no it won't be easy either. You have my respect Naruto-san. Hiashi bowed low to the blonde. An act the Naruto awkwardly returned. Now, Hanabi, take him to your sister's room. Right away, father. This way, Naruto-san. Hanabi gestured for Naruto to follow her. Yeah, right. Naruto got up and followed after her. He wasn't sure how it happened, but he had ended up following that man's pace. A truly formidable opponent. He would have to try again another time. The door was shut behind him and Hiashi was again left alone. Hurry and become a man who can properly protect my daughter, Naruto-san. Protect her since I wasn't properly able to. Hiashi knew he was taking a risk mouthing that sentence out loud but he didn't care. He felt much better having said it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the door, Hanabi was giving Naruto a strange look. Naruto-san. Yeah, it was Hanabi, right? Naruto asked nervously. He was never good with names. Yes, but, Naruto-san, Hanabi looked away and didn't say anything for a minute. What's up? Naruto got tired of waiting. Hanabi didn't answer for another couple of seconds. Naruto-san, you're incredible. Hanabi was suddenly beaming at him. Thanks, I know. Naruto puffed out his chest. Why exactly am I incredible? I have never seen Hinata-ne-chan try so hard in her life. She was incredible when she sparred against father. Furthermore, I have never heard father laugh, not even once. For you to be able to get him too, you must really be something. Not only that, but I haven't even seen a picture of mom in forever. I had no idea he kept it on him. I had even forgotten what she looked like. Naruto felt an odd sense of pride swell up inside of himself as Hanabi continued to drone on. Apparently he had gotten a lot out of the clan head. Suddenly, they were at Hinata's door. Hinata-ne-chan, Hanabi said as she knocked on the door. Go away, Hanabi-chan. Hinata shouted. Just leave me alone, I don't want to do anything right now. Naruto grew worried. Hinata sounded really upset. He was about to call but Hanabi grabbed hold of his hand to get his attention. When she had it, she shook her head. So Naruto reluctantly remained quiet. But, Hinata-ne-chan, don't you want to see the surprise I brought you? They heard some shuffling from in the room. Suddenly, they heard a gasp and footsteps as Hinata ran to the door. She swung it open. Naruto-kun. Hinata threw herself into him. Naruto was knocked backwards from the force but managed to stay on his feet. What is it with you and these forceful hugs? Can't I get an ordinary one for once? Naruto joked as he returned to hug. Soon Hinata pulled back. I don't understand, did you sneak in here? Hinata wiped away tears that had begun to leak from her eyes. Nah, your father asked for me to come. He said he approves of us dating, so it's okay. Naruto laughed at the look of surprise on Hinata's face. Come on, he said we can go on a date tonight. Bushy Brow and Ayami-ne-chan are probably going to be ready by the time we get there. Naruto started to pull on Hinata's arm. A date? Hinata asked, off in her own little world. Yeah, a double date. Come on. Naruto pulled a little harder. Oh, 1 second. Hinata pulled back, went into her room and closed the door. Wait, Hinata. What the heck is she doing? Naruto scratched his head in confusion. She's changing, of course. She can't go like she is. Naruto had forgotten Hanabi was there for a second. Well, why not? Hanabi just looked at him like he was stupid. Sorry we're late. Naruto called running up to his teammate and sister figure. Hinata was just behind him. Whoa, Bushy Brow, what happened to your outfit? Naruto stopped short to stare at his best friend. He no longer wore the spandex that was his and Guy's trademark. Instead he wore green shirts and a green t-shirt. The yellow leg warmers were still present to hold his weights in. Ayami-chan has insisted that I wear something different while out on dates. I will be back to my normal attire when we next meet. Speaking of changing clothes, I see you didn't have the decency to do so. Look how pretty Hinata got for you. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Naruto flinched at his sister's harsh criticism. He wouldn't deny it though, Hinata definitely looked pretty good in normal clothes. Her bright blue, sleeveless shirt fit nicely over her slender frame and contrasted well with the slightly purple pants she wore. Naruto had admitted she was cute before, but this was now on a whole new level. I don't mind. Hinata blushed slightly as she spoke. She wasn't entirely comfortable with everyone's eyes on her just yet. I am just happy to be going on a date with you all. I hope to make this a most youthful night. You're into that talk about youth too. I really am outnumbered now. Ayami threw her hands up in defeat. Anyways, we need to decide on where to eat. She looked over to Naruto and Lee purposely. How about, continue that sentence and I'll serve you cold ramen for the rest of your life. Naruto snapped his mouth shut. I know of an excellent restaurant a few blocks away. But we must hurry, soon only the bar is left open. Lee grabbed Ayami's hand and started running off. Lee, wait, we've talked about you dragging me around like this. Ayami yelled frantically as Lee nearly carried her off. Naruto looked over to Hinata. That looks oddly familiar, huh? We should probably run to keep up with him, we don't know where they are going, after all. Naruto looked back in time to see Lee turning the corner. Last one there is a rotten egg. Naruto bolted before Hinata had a chance to react. That's not fair, Naruto-kun. Hinata ran after him as soon as she realized what happened. They whipped around the corner and were quickly gaining on Lee. Hinata suddenly got an idea. Naruto-kun, someone just dropped a bowl of ramen. Naruto halted in his tracks and spun around, searching frantically for the source of such a dastardly deed. Hinata shot past him and Naruto quickly realized he'd been duped. Hinata barely beat Naruto to the building Lee was standing in front of. You cheated, Naruto shouted as he ran up to her. Hinata responded by sticking her tongue out at him. You are all insane. Ayami was still gasping for breath. How can none of you even be winded? Our flames burn far too brightly to be put out by such a light jog. Lee roared. Naruto's stomach growled in response. Well, my flames are telling me they need to be fed. Naruto walked past them into the restaurant. Hinata and Lee walked in laughing with him. Ayami grumbled a little but had a grin on her face all the same. Soon, the group was seated at a high table right next to the bar. Hi there folks, said a waitress who came up to their table. The name is Nene and I'll be your server tonight. What can I start you all off with to drink? I'll have tea, Ayami said. The others all quickly followed her lead, ordering tea. Alright, 40s, I'll be right back with those and to take your orders. Nene turned around and ran smack into a customer with a glass of something in his hand. The man stumbled and dropped his drink all over the front of Nene's dress. The man looked over at her sharply. He didn't say anything and just started walking back towards the bar. Oh, I'm sorry, Nene shouted after recovering her wits. The man ignored her. Nene shrugged and walked off, looking at her ruined dress the whole way. Great, looks like we got a newbie. Ayami mumbled. How much you guys want to bet she brings us back the wrong drinks? I am sure she will do just fine. Lee said. She just has to tap into her untamed youth. What's that bushy brow, you disagreeing with Ne-chan? Lee shook his head fiercely. I think she'll do just fine. Hinata said as she watched Nene walking back carefully with the drinks. Here you go, folks. Nene set the tray of drinks on the table. Ayami peered at the drinks curiously. She noticed quickly that it wasn't tea they had. Yosh. Well done Nene-san. Lee grabbed his drink and drank it all in a second. Lee wait, that's not tea. Ayami shouted too late. Nene looked down in confusion. Oh, shoot. This sake was meant for the table next to you guys, my bad. Please don't tell on me. I can't get in trouble for selling to a minor. Oh, shucks. We could not stay mad at someone as cute as you Nene-san. Lee gave a big hiccup. Everyone at the table quickly took note of Lee's slurred words and two big red spots on his cheeks. Bushy brow, are you drunk? Naruto started laughing. This was too much. You hardly had anything. What was that, you picking on me, punk? Naruto wasn't sure what happened. Lee had been on the other side of the table. The next thing he knew and Lee was under it and Naruto was flying from his chair. He landed painfully on his back. That will show you. Hiccup. Naruto slowly stood up. Now that hurt, alright bushy brow, we need to get you out of here. Naruto cautiously stepped closer to his teammate. Just before he could set his hand on his shoulder, Lee literally slithered away from his grasp. Oh, back for show more Aishi. I am about to give you the thrashing of a lither time. Lee suddenly launched himself at Naruto in the most peculiar angle Naruto had ever witnessed. The young blonde found it impossible to block the blow that nailed him. This time he crashed onto the bar, breaking several glasses. Ayami screamed as she watched it happen. The combined noise caused immediate panic from all those present and they immediately fled the restaurant, screaming the whole way. Lee, cool down, please, you have to stop this. Ayami ran up to Lee and pulled at his arm. Stop what, babe? Lee grinned eerily at her. I am just living my youth to the fullest. Are you not proud of me, Guy-sensei? Lee began spinning around with his arms up in the air. Hinata was suddenly right next to him, Byakugan active, and her fingers posed to strike a knockout point. Just before her blow connected, Lee bent completely backwards at a 90-degree angle. Hinata's strike missed. Lee then rolled over and slithered in between Hinata's legs and stood up erect behind her. Ish, that you Hinata? You want to dance? Lee grabbed her hand and spun her around. Hinata spun for several seconds before she crashed into a table. Ops. Hiccup. I am surprised you would want to dance with me. I thought you liked Naruto. Lee let out a small giggle. That does it, I'm taking you out. Four Narutos shouted as they closed in on Lee from different sides. Oh. Naruto, there thou art. Lee switched to a handstand and spun around with his feet stretched out. He knocked each Naruto on the face and they all were sent crashing into a different part of the restaurant. Damn, I can't even get close to him like this. One of the Narutos growled as they all stood up. Yosh, Naruto, let's have a mouth youthful sparing march. Hiccup. Lee was suddenly charging straight at one of the Narutos. Alright, that's enough. A masked ninja with white hair that Naruto didn't recognize appeared behind Lee, his thumb already pressed on the pressure point on Lee's neck. Lee collapsed to a seemingly boneless heap on the ground. A natural-born Sukan fighter, huh? Guy, you've been holding out on me. The one-eyed ninja said as he bent down and began to pick Lee up. Hey, who the hell are you? Where are you taking my teammate? Naruto ran up to the man. Sorry about this, Naruto, I'm just taking him back to his place. Leave this whole mess to me, you just get those two ladies home. The ninja made a quick hand sign, then he and Lee were both gone. Naruto stared bewildered at the spot the man just left from. Who was that guy, and how did he know my name? Naruto's answer was a pained groan from Hinata. Naruto instantly forgot about the mysterious shinobi for a second. Hinata, you okay? Naruto ran over and helped Hinata help from the heap she was on. Yes, I'm fine, Naruto-kun, just a little dazed. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. He then looked over to Ayami. She looked to be in a daze as well. Nei-chan, we gotta get out of here. Naruto held Hinata's hand as they walked up to her. Ayami paid them no mind though. Nei-chan. Naruto put his hand on her shoulder. Ayami snapped out of it and looked over at Naruto fearfully. Naruto, what the heck did that man just do? Is Lee going to be okay? He won't get in any kind of trouble for this, will he? Naruto grabbed her by the forearm and pulled her out of the restaurant as she asked her questions. They got a huge amount of questioning stares as they left and started walking down the street. Naruto, answer me. Lee is going to be okay, right? Ayami was starting to get frantic. She shook herself free from Naruto's grasp and stopped walking. Naruto stopped and looked back at her. Bushy brow will be just fine, maybe a little hungover, but okay. That weird guy just knocked him out is all. I doubt he'll be punished for something like this. That guy said he would take care of him. He was a jonin, so we should trust him to keep his word. Ayami let out a breath she didn't know she had been holding. Her relief then transformed into rage. If I ever meet that nene again, I'm going to have a couple choice words for her. She better hope that I don't get my hands on her or there'll be hell to pay. Ayami started storming off towards her shop. Naruto watched her go, too fearful to get close to the raging woman. I think it's kind of cute, Hinata said, catching Naruto's attention. She seems bossy, but she really does seem to care about Lee-senpai in her own way. Naruto chuckled. Yeah, Bushy Brow said something like that about her too. Naruto stared back at Ayami again before looking back to Hinata. I'm sorry, guess our first date got really messed up, huh? Naruto did his best to smile at her. To his surprise, Hinata gave him a genuine smile back. It's okay, Naruto-kun. I enjoyed what time we had, just being with you a little is enough for me. Naruto felt himself blush at her words. Why yeah, well, then, what do you say we take the long way to your house then? I'd like that. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.